thank you so much, Aaron, for joining us here at the Dwelling Show today. I really appreciate your time. I know you're super busy, so taking time out to talk to our dwelling community here really means a lot to us. So, I mean, Aaron has got a lot going on. Is a Seattle Realtor, also an investor. He's authored a book, Don't Get Fooled Again, an insider's guide to 7 questions you must ask to avoid hiring the wrong real estate agent. Love that title. He's also an educator. He speaks as well frequently. He is the managing partner of Christine and Company, a Seattle magazine. He's been awarded a 5-star real estate agent winning team for the past 5 years. Wow. And he's also an individual rising star in Seattle real estate. He's also a winner. I have to mention, Aaron, you also opened a New York bagel shop in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and you sold that business 9 years later, grossing over $1 million. So that's definitely a nice fact. And you currently live off of the coast of Seattle with your beautiful wife and your 2 awesome kids. So yeah. Aaron, I think you can do a way better job than I can. Can you tell our Dwell listeners what you've been up to and what you're doing right now?
Well, first of all, thank you. I don't know that I could do a better job. That makes me want to know me more than I actually like to know me. So that was really a good intro of me. Let's see. I sell residential real estate. I help people with the most expensive, impactful transaction of their life. And I help them make smart decisions, whether or not it's time to sell or buy, and help them negotiate the best possible deal so that they are, getting the most money or spending the least money and getting the best possible property for them. And it's an honor to be trusted that way with people. And, aside from, raising my family, raising my kids and being with my wife, that's what I'm doing.
Awesome. So this is really interesting because you had a lot going on, before, I guess, you went fully into real estate.
Yeah.
And you had a successful business. So you were doing pretty well. Just kind of chronicle how your journey was to real estate pretty quickly. I really like the bagel shop story. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Well, all right. So before the bagel shop, I was in art school, right? And in New York, I grew up in New York. And when you graduate art school, you're eligible to work in the food service industry anywhere in the country. So I could wait tables anywhere I wanted with my Bachelor of Fine Art degree. And I went to Albuquerque and moved there with my, at the time, girlfriend, and waited tables. And then the baker in the restaurant quit. And I thought, I should try doing that. So I tried baking, and I could bake. I don't know. It's one of those things I knew how to do. And then a while later, I decided to open my own bakery. So I got investors and my parents and other people, and put money together and started a bakery, and it was just a ton of fun. And then I wound up doing a program called the Landmark Forum, which is a personal development, transformational education program. A business coach, as part of my running the bakery, recommended that I do this thing called the Landmark Forum. And I love that. I love that work so much that I wound up selling the business to go to work for Landmark. So before real estate, I worked for Landmark for probably 11 years. And then during that time, I wound up with 2 kids, and the lifestyle of the work, I really wanted to spend more time with my family. So I left that. I took a couple other jobs, and that was right during the downturn, right, 2010. And the startup I was working with at the time moved to New York, and I didn't want to go back to New York. I was in Seattle by this time. And so I was jobless, and I started cold calling for a credit repair company. And I was calling people for helping them repair their credit. And one of the people I was calling, being entrepreneurial, I thought, I should talk to my realtor friends, because they know people that have bad, that could use their credit improved. And every realtor that I talked to said, listen, man, if you're going to call 100 people a day, you should be in real estate, because you'll make way more money. And after a time, I decided I would listen to them. So I left cold calling for credit repair, and found my way eventually into real estate. And my only regret is I didn't find it sooner. It's such a expression, such a natural expression for me. I love the opportunity. I love the business. I love the entrepreneurialness of it. I love the opportunity to be with people. I just love all of it.
Okay. So if I'm listening to this, I'm like, wow, I just love, Aaron's story. And I'm considering whether or not I should get my real estate
Mm.
license. What would you say to that person?
Oh, hurry up. You know, really, here's the deal about getting a real estate license. If you're going to be an investor, it's worth it. It's not, it's about, I don't know what it costs wherever people are listening. In Washington, it's about a $2,000 investment between the class and the licensing and the fees and everything. It's about 2,000 bucks. Takes 2 to 3 weeks of your time. And, you'll make that back tenfold in your first transaction. So there's literally no reason not to. Do it. And then if you're going to do it as a career, if you're going to be a realtor for a career, which is different than being an investor for a career. But if you're going to be a realtor for a career, you should just be prepared for, it's a startup. People have a misconception about real estate because the hours are flexible, that they're part-time. And, the joke in the office for me is I get to work whatever 70 hours a week I want. And it's so that if you're ready for that, it's a startup. You're starting a business. You're starting a business, and you're gonna and you should be that way as an investor too. Though I don't care what you're doing,
Right.
but but it's a good investment to get a real estate license. You can't. It's so cheap and so relatively simple. If you're going to be an investor, why not take that side of the transaction? You'd be crazy not to.
So okay. I'm sold, right? So I have my real estate license. I'm out there working whatever 70 hours I want, right? I'm doing pretty well. So why the number of homes a realtor sell or the annual revenue isn't necessarily a best measure?
Yeah, well, if you're hiring a realtor, so if you're not a realtor and you're an investor, you're going to need to hire a realtor, right? So you don't have to. You could bird dog it and not, find yellow letters and go out and find the people to buy from. But when it comes time to sell it, it's really rare that sometimes investors can overcome the hurdle, but mostly using a realtor is a way better deal. Let you as an investor spend your time on what makes you the most money, right? Finding houses. And when you're interviewing realtors, a lot of people will look for, who sells the most homes, but that's okay. But you'd be better off asking them who sells the most homes, who sells their homes for the most over asking price, who's got the best performance. See, most realtors know, I sold 32 deals, 32 sides last year, or 40 million in volume. They know those numbers. But the number that rarely they know is we sell homes for 108% over asking price, and the market average is 102%.
Wow.
That's what we do. So, but we know that number because we measure that number, because that's the number for us that's the most important, because that's the number that puts the money in the client's pocket. So when you're in the position of looking for a realtor, you should be asking the question, hey, how much over asking price do you get homes for, and what's the average in this area? So you can compare apples to apples. How would you know who to hire otherwise? You'd have to hire just someone you liked, which is crazy.
Interesting. So now let's I have my investor hat on, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't have my license and I want to go out there to, perhaps speak to a few realtors, right?
Yeah.
What numbers should I, when selecting an agent, what numbers do people normally focus on, and what numbers should they not be so worried about other than just the over asking price? What else can we look at?
Well, for sure anything having to do with their past performance is what you want to be looking at that people don't look at. No one's ever asked me. Unless I prompt them by giving them my book beforehand, they don't ask me. They want to know my marketing plan. That's a conversation I have all the time. Show me your marketing plan. Or do you sell a lot of homes in this neighborhood? And I can't think of two questions that are less relevant to my performance than, do I sell a lot of homes in this neighborhood? Why would that matter to a buyer? Why would a buyer care if I sell a lot of homes in that neighborhood? And that's who you want me to appeal to, right? You want your home to appeal to buyers. What do you care what could matter less? There's no trick to selling homes in your neighborhood. There's no like special secret sauce that happens in your neighborhood. People find your home on Redfin, on Zillow, on open houses. They want it priced right. They need it shown right. All the kinds of things. Doesn't matter where you sell homes. So that's a silly thing to focus on, right? Is where I sell homes. Second thing that's silly is show me your marketing plan. I mean, marketing is critical. They have to have a marketing plan. But how would you know if my marketing plan was better than the other guys? See, I love Facebook ads, and I think Facebook ads are fantastic. They're targeted. They're great. And Joe Realtor next to me that's competing with me says, well, I have this kiosk at the mall, and it's awesome, and we get 7,000 people walk by our kiosk, and it's just great for our sales. Which would you say is the better fit?
How would you know? Right.
You couldn't tell. You know how you could tell? Who sells home for the most money in the least time? The guy that sells the homes for the most money in the least time, their method works and the other guy doesn't.
So that's the days on market?
Well, it's the days on market and the price over asking. At least it's a level playing field. You can see apples to apples, and because otherwise you're just left with, well, I think Facebook marketing is great, or wow, that guy doesn't have a kiosk at the mall. Let's hire him. Who says that's? How would you know?
Okay, so that, thank you for that. That's really interesting. Now you're definitely making me think. So I'm an investor, but I'm thinking I don't want to drag my agent to all the 100 properties I want to look at, right? So do discount brokers really save you money? And why is negotiating a better fee from your realtor not a good idea? Because I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, look, in business, not real estate, in business, right, which real estate is a subset of, right? So this is not a real estate thing. This is how business works. What do discounts represent? Why do people give discounts? Do people give discounts because they're nice? Do they give discounts because they're friendly? No, they give discounts either they're going to make it up on volume, like Costco, Amazon, right? They have lower overhead. They can afford to take a smaller slice of the pie, and they're going to make it. They need more pie. They got to get a lot more business, right? So those massive rolls of toilet paper you get at Costco, right? If you want to be one of those little rolls, fine. They're going to make it up on volume, right? That's one reason why people give discounts. The other reason why people give discounts is because it's an overstock, or it's somehow the market just will not pay full price for it. They tried to sell it at full price. The market wouldn't pay full price. They have to offer a discount to get rid of it. Those are the only two reasons why any business ever offers a discount. If someone could get full price for something, they would get full price for it. No one would ever sell anything for a dime less than they thought they could get for it. So a discount broker is actually telling you something. They're saying, I can't get full commission. Or if I could get full commission, I would. Why would someone charge you 2% if they could get 3%?
Right.
They wouldn't.
It doesn't make sense, right?
Doesn't make sense. They wouldn't. There's something they're not going to have. There's something they can't deliver to you that the market is saying they're either new or they're going to be busier. They have a ton more business, right? There's a loss leader. Like if you watch the history of Redfin started, they were giving all these kickbacks to buyers, and those things have gotten smaller and smaller and smaller over time. And now that they're a public company, excuse me, it's very thin, right? Now they're focused on the 1% listing. Okay, well, the 1% listing, that's attractive, right? But here's the problem with the 1% listing. You ask those Redfin agents, how much over asking price do you sell your homes for? And I promise you, you could find a full service broker that sells it for more than that. We sell homes at 108. They sell homes at 100 and whatever. Okay. You're talking about saving 2%, not right. Cause you're going to have to pay the buyer's agent 3%.
Right.
You're going to pay them 1%. So that's 4% you're paying, not 6%, right? It's standard 6, right? So that's 6%. So you're saving 2%. Well, find a full service agent that sells homes at 104% or sells homes 2% more, and you don't have to do any of the work. You can go out and spend your time, find a partner that's worth it. Price is only a problem when value is absent. So,
Okay, interesting,
yeah.
interesting. So if I'm thinking of buying a home, as an investor, maybe a single family, even though we typically buy multifamily, or maybe I'm just a listener that I want to buy a home, what are the steps that I should take, or I guess not take, on my journey towards being a homeowner?
Well, there's a ton of them, right? It's a complex transaction, as you know, as an investor, even if, as a listener, it's a multifaceted, complex transaction. So it's not simple, and it's never the same twice, right? There's some of the steps are the same, but it was a little nuanced, and this one's different, and that person on the other side of the table is always different.
Right.
Right. And you got to read them, and you got to know how they're going to play it. And they're not in it because they're nice. They're in it to make money. So I think the steps are finding a great team, get a great realtor, get a great lender, stay away from the big banks, get a small local mortgage lender that specializes in home loans that can handle all the different variations of what you're trying to do. And stay away from trying to cut corners. Don't try and scrimp on your team. The team is there to protect you. The team is there to make sure you get the best possible deal for the long run, especially as an investor. As an investor, look, as a homeowner, you only got one shot at it, right? As an investor, you can make it up over time, right? So even if there's a loss on this one deal, you've got 10 of them, right? So having a great team is just an investment for you as an investor. I have a great team. That's right. I don't have to worry about my realtor. I don't have to worry about my lender. I don't have to worry about my insurance agent. I don't have to worry about my lawyer. I don't have to worry about, they all got my back. That's a huge money saver in the long run.
So now I'm definitely just ready to get somebody in my corner. I'm ready to get an agent in my corner. And, I see the signs, here in Baltimore of this particular agent in the area I'm looking at, right? Yeah. And I'm like, this guy keeps in his face on every single sign.
Isn't that great?
It's awesome. This is the guy I want on my team. Yeah. Is that really correct? Is that true?
I don't know. See, again, realtors know that no one's ever going to vet them on their performance. No one's ever going to ask them, hey, how much over asking? No one's ever going to ask their actual last 12 months sales. So people go by who's ever on the top of their mind, whoever they see the most of, right? And they know this. So that what realtors do is they have a practice called farming. And they will farm a geographical area. So they put a sign in a yard, and then they door knock, and they do the open houses. And so now, and they saturate postcards into that neighborhood, because it's a lot easier to work a neighborhood than it is to schlep all over the city and work wherever someone calls you. To saturate a geographical area is a simple, relatively simple thing. And they know, like you, I will see their face all the time and somehow associate the frequency with which their face is seen with the quality of work that they do. The human brain will make that connection. Because you can think of it, this is literally the subject of my new book. Because you can think of it, you will treat it as true. Because it's easily thought of, you will deal with it like it's the truth. So they know that. So if you take farming to its natural conclusion, right? So that's called farming. They farm the area, right? They door knock, they put signs up, you see them all the time. That makes you the crop.
Wow. Wow. That is interesting. Okay.
So again, I think it always is the same answer with me. What is their past track record? How much over asking price have they sold? How many days on market? And how does that compare to the local averages? Get that number. Find out from them how they get their business. Is it referral business, or are they always getting new internet leads? Because someone who's got a referral-based business is someone who's likely to be there for the long-term relationship. Business is either relationship or it's transaction. They're there for a relationship. So that's a better sign for you, especially as an investor, not a one and done, but someone you can count on, right? And, find out those kinds of things from them. Find out if they have a team versus is it just one person, right? Just one person can't be all things to all people unless you're their only customer.
Right.
Right.
Okay. So you mentioned your next book. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm definitely curious. I mean, the title, Real Estate Blind Spots, what
Yeah.
people don't
Well,
know.
I changed the name.
Oh, you changed it.
Yeah.
Oh, let us know.
I
Tell
did.
us.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. I got a mock-up of the cover right
Oh,
here.
nice.
Yeah. So it's just almost, it's shortchanged by shortcuts. 44 surprising ways people rip themselves off when buying or selling their home. And everything that we just talked about is in there. It's everything from the way the brain works and how your brain will literally rip you off, have you rip yourself off rather than do the thinking. It'll go the easy way versus the way that actually produce the results, which for most things is fine. I mean, because frankly, who cares if you pick up, a case of, 6-pack of Heineken this week and a 6-pack of St. Pauli Girl next week and a 6-pack of Pabst. It doesn't, whatever the brain last commercial it saw is what it's going to think is the most delicious. Fine. That's okay. Same thing with wine. But your house is literally the most expensive thing you're ever going to buy. It's the most impactful purchase you're ever going to have. And you only do it every 7 years. Even as an investor, it's still the most expensive transaction you have, even if you do it all the time. So putting some more thought into it rather than just the automatic way we buy anything is a critical aspect. So that's why I wrote the book. And I'm super excited about it.
When is that coming out, or is it already out?
No, it's not out yet. I'm in the hopefully last editing. It's actually not the last editing, because every time I edit it, I send it back to my typesetter, and then she sends it back to me to look at, and I go, oh wait, there's this, and then she's got to do it again. So hopefully this last round is my last round. So it should be a couple more weeks. Okay. And yeah, I'm super stoked.
Well, congratulations. Definitely let us know when that's out so we can,
I will.
We can push that out to our audience. And your other book is actually obviously already out, so we can get that.
That's free. So here's the thing. If they go to the website to get that book, which is,
yes, please.
Okay. It's don'tgetfooledagainbook.com. And they can go there and download that book. It's like a very mini version of the book that I'm writing. But I'll have their name and their email address, and I will be able to put them on the mailing list so they'll know when the shortchange by shortcuts comes out. They'll know that, and they'll be the first to find out about it.
Fantastic. So we're definitely dwelling into the quick rounds now. So these are going to be quick questions.
Okay, go ahead. What do you got?
Yeah. Let's do it. You're like ready.
Come on, bring it.
So I'm just kind of curious. I mean, you've got a ton of stuff going on. So what would you say is the differentiating, factor that separates you from the other guy or the other girl? What makes you that different real estate agent?
Well, I think the number one thing is that I consider myself an educator more than a realtor, that I am into it. I'm in the business to empower people to get what they want.
Awesome. Fantastic. That was short and sweet. I like that. What was the last book that you read, and what was the one thing or the nugget from that book that you learned?
I think the last book that I read, first of all, I listen now to books. I haven't read a book in a while, so it's a lot of audio books. But one of the last books I read was Never Split the Difference. Chris Voss, he's a FBI negotiator, and it was a book about negotiation. And fascinating, great listen. And first of all, just the title, Never Split the Difference. You don't, when you're negotiating for someone's life, you can't split the difference. You don't go, oh, well, just take off an arm and we'll take them back. You don't do that, right? So you don't look at negotiating from the point of view of, well, we'll just meet in the middle. You look at negotiating like you're going to get everything. The only win here is for you to get everything there is and have that occur as a win for the other person. Have it be their thinking that gives you everything you want. That's how you go into the negotiation. Fascinating, great book. I've listened to it twice now, and I've probably listened to it for the rest of my life. It's great.
Wow, I have to check that out. That is definitely interesting.
Never split the difference.
Okay, we're going to definitely put that in the show notes too for our dual listeners. So final question. You've got a ton of stuff going on, like I said. How do you blow some steam up? What do you do for fun? You're off the coast of Seattle. What do you do these days for fun?
Well, let's see. I have 2 kids and mostly a beautiful wife. So mostly what I do for fun is I indoctrinate them into the things I like to do. So, it's football season and I live in Seattle. So it's go Hawks
Nice.
all the time. It's
I
just,
like
and
it.
it's, I play fantasy football with my kids and every Sunday is dedicated to, watching the Seahawks and bitching and moaning about them when they lose, and celebrating them
Why
when they
not,
win.
right?
That's all we do. That's how we roll.
Well, Aaron, thank you so, so much for taking time out to spend with us here at the Dwelling community. I've learned so much, the different metrics to look for when reaching out to agents, days on market, and,
Mm-hmm.
above sales of above asking price. So I can never forget those 2 metrics to watch out for. So we definitely appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Well, I appreciate the opportunity.